Hey everybody, welcome. What's up, Big Daddy? 5150. Shout out to you. Tuning in on YouTube. We're live on Rumble, YouTube, and X. So we'll see if we get any activity there today. But I'm so glad you could join me. Oh, we got a good show today. I'm going to talk about what I think, as it's a Wednesday. It's a Big Idea Wednesday. So I'm going to talk about something that I find pretty fascinating, and I call it the optimization trap. So we're going to check that out today. Let me just make sure that I am show more. Okay. Maybe I'm live on X, maybe I'm not, but I am on YouTube and Rumble. So we'll just roll with that, shall we? What's up, everybody? To Steven. Here we go. So I guess let's just get into the big idea. Optimization. Sounds like progress, right? Optimize your time, your business, your news, your health, your content. More efficient, more measurable, more numbers going up. But here's the trap. When you optimize the metric, you often damage the system because metrics are just proxies. They're not reality. They're scoreboards. And once the scoreboard becomes the goal, people stop improving the thing and start gaming the number. Media optimized for clicks. Outrage beats truth. Schools optimized for tests. Memorization beats learning. Companies optimized for quarters. Shortcuts beat durability. Platforms optimized for engagement. Division beats sanity. The chart rises, the substance falls. Real systems need margin and balance. Not maximum output at all times. Only fragile systems run redlined. If the number is all that matters, the system is already corrupted. My name's Tom Coffey. This is the Coffee and Nuance Show, your favorite streaming show, live right now. Flame on. So, we're talking about the optimization trap. And let me just check. We got a couple. Tom, your mic volume is low. Uh-oh. No. How about now? Well, this microphone is turning. Son of a gun. Okay. I think we have it somewhat better. Okay. Sorry about that. I've been trying to optimize this studio. Obviously, that doesn't work. So, here's the optimization trap. Left-hand micing today. Okay, there we go. So optimization, right? Sounds smart, but it can be destructive. And that's the thing is modern systems, they just chase numbers, not outcomes. And it's everywhere you look. Clicks versus the truth, engagement versus sanity. Improving the score can break the game. So metrics are just shortcuts. They stand in for something that's harder to measure, right? So here's the issue, though. Once the shortcut becomes the goal, that's when the distortion begins. So GDP, right? You hear that all the time on the news. That doesn't really mean quality of life, but they use it for a substitute for that. Followers, just because the number of followers you have has very little to do with the influence that these people have, right? Calories do not equal nutrition, okay? Poll numbers don't necessarily reflect the outcome of what's going to happen, you know? And a lot of time people just forget that the metric is just a symbol and it's not the actual thing. Okay, so, let's look at media, for example, right? Click-through becomes the success metric. And because of this, you get a lot of outrage, fear. Novelty beats accuracy. I keep seeing this all the time in my feed. I don't see a whole lot of like original, thoughtful things in my feed. There's a lot of crap, you know. And in your feed, you don't see a lot of calm, right? Anything that spikes your emotions is going to do much better. I was chatting with my friend Josh, and he put out a tweet that was one of these "Do you notice this?" deals. And it got like 50,000 views. And he puts out thoughtful insight, and it gets 10, right? So that's just kind of how it is. But anyway, we all have this kind of addiction to breaking news. Attention just replaces accuracy. That's where we're at. So when we optimize for tests, we have less learning. Okay, so teachers will teach to the test. You memorize and then you forget it. And curiosity doesn't, there's no bubble sheet for curiosity. You don't put that on a Scantron, right? Students can ace an exam and then they can't even explain the concept of what they were being judged on, right? Real mastery is slow and it's messy. And the metrics reward this kind of short-term recall. So when we change measurement to like the outcome on a test, we've changed the behavior. We're not pushing intelligence, we're pushing memorization. Right? And I know this. I was a teacher, and I was pushed by the other teachers to teach to the test. And I didn't want to do that. And it wasn't long for that job, right? So optimize for quarters. That's all business is, right? It's all quarterly profit focus. Long term doesn't really matter, right? Because the person who set up the long-term thing might not even be there in the long term to get the credit for it. So maintenance, that's just inefficient, right? If you do maintenance, that's probably good for the long term, but in the short term, it may cost you some. So we've got a real issue here, and this could be an example of why you might have just cheap materials. Because you're only looking at the quarter, you're not looking at the long term. So short-term numbers, long-term fragility. That's what it is. And healthy systems, right? They optimize balance and not just scores. So resilient systems keep margins. They don't have maximum efficiency. They're adaptive. Nature uses buffers, slack, redundancy, right? So when we look at things that work, right, they all have buffers, right? They're all looking at more of a long-term thing, not just short-term goals. So the healthiest systems don't run at max, right? They run with some margin. So, for example, here's some things that to kind of flush this out. Farming, if you optimize it just for this year's yield, then you're going to wreck the soil long term. Social media, if you optimize it for engagement, guess what? Now you have total polarization. If you diet for weight loss, you can totally wreck your metabolism. Okay, so you want to have something that is sustainable, right? And sustainable weight loss might not be as quick, right, as a crash diet. So software, if there's a new software and it's optimized for speed, it might be optimized for speed because it doesn't have the security that it may need. So when the number becomes the goal, the truth is just optional, right? And when you hear the word optimization, that's how smart systems quietly destroy themselves. That's the big idea for today on this Wednesday. But we've got lots of other great stories to get to, so I guess let's just get to them. Let's see. I've got this here, and we'll just get into... Here we go. We'll do this. All right. Here we go. So we're talking about New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani. Hey, what's up, chat? I'm so glad the people could join me in the chat today. By the way, if you smash that like button, that's what they say to do. Perhaps one day we will get into the teens of live watchers. Maybe not today, but we'll get there. Talking about New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani. He's urging Governor Kathy Hochul to impose higher taxes on the wealthy to tackle a looming $5.4 billion with a B budget deficit. So during his budget proposal, he highlighted a huge gap and has two potential strategies to address the city's fiscal challenges. Mainly, higher taxes. Are there any other creative solutions that we can come up with? No. Let's just tax the uber wealthy, and I think there's a lot of moving companies making big money moving people down to Florida. This is probably good news if you are a tax accountant with a PhD. New York City, you're probably going to be making a lot of money because you're going to be hired by a lot of these rich people that are going to not want to pay these new taxes. They're going to be looking for these loopholes. So, is this going to work? My prediction is no. This is what they tried here in Portland. Portland put in a number of taxes on the wealthy, and they all took off. I mean, hashtag not all, but anybody that could, that was making money, just left the city. I think we lost over 30,000 people that were making $250,000, something like that. And they moved their residency outside of the county. Whether they moved to a different state or just to a different county, their taxes aren't coming into our county anymore. We're at a huge deficit. Mamdani apparently didn't get the memo from what they tried here in Portland. Portland is now on a doom loop. It's destroying itself with these communist or whatever democratic socialist policies. So we'll just see what happens with that. Anyway, let's get to the next story. I like this headline here. Good cop Rubio challenges European to reject decline. You'd think that shouldn't be hard, right? But Rubio gave a speech at the Munich Security Conference. He urged European leaders to reject a sense of decline and reinvigorate their partnership with the United States. He emphasized shared heritage and values, all good things, right? Calling for a renewed commitment to democratic principles. That's what they talk about a lot. And collective security in the face of these global challenges. I don't know. I think it was a good show. But as we know, most of Europe is kind of aligned against Trump and seems to be set on destroying their continent. I could make speculations as to why that's happening, but that's just kind of what it seems like to me. But this isn't just like a diplomatic hug. It's a calculated political play of what he's doing today. Rubio could be positioning himself for this kind of transatlantic bridge for perhaps a 2028 run, perhaps. Anyway, this is a chance to try to strengthen NATO. Is it just a big show? Perhaps it is. But it's good to hear. It's good to hear that we have leaders that are saying, "Hey, don't kill yourself." Right? That should be a message for everyone. Anyway, next story. What do we got? Yeah, that's right. I'm just using a X post as a as a story, right? Why not? Why does it have to be? Stories can be anything we want, right? So this was some speculation from Sean Davis. He is, what is he head of? CEO of the Federalist. Okay. So anyway, he is alleging that anti-Trump factions within the GOP are actively working to sabotage the Republican Party's chances in the upcoming midterm elections to benefit Democrats. Kind of interesting claim. It suggests there's a deep rift in the party. Yeah. Right? McConnell, right? And elite members are prioritizing their disdain for Trump over party success. And yeah, they're just kind of showing where they're at, right? There's no party unity, and the consequences of this could be massive, right? So, and you would think, if these GOP elites are sabotaging their own candidates, maybe they should just come out and run as Democrats. Right? No, they got to keep up the lie. I would say if anti-Trump GOP leaders are willing to risk midterm losses over personal vendettas, I don't know. I think that this could ignite like a grassroots uprising against them. Demand accountability. We've heard a lot about accountability, but to be honest, I haven't seen much anywhere. Like we still haven't seen any with any of the Epstein stuff. Really? Right? How many people have been arrested? Yeah. I don't know. I just think this is more politics, more of the same politics. But this was an interesting take from Sean Davis on X. You can go over there and check that out. This is quite a headline to see. Biden's quiet amnesty for nearly 1 million illegal aliens. Critics are calling a quiet amnesty for nearly 1 million illegal immigrants. This comes from claims of 6 to 10 million undocumented individuals have crossed the border during the Biden presidency. Kind of a big deal. Kind of a big deal. What exactly is a quiet amnesty? And is that even legal? Right? Yeah. But this quiet amnesty, it's not just like a policy shift. It's a total game changer in the electoral map of the United States. And granting 1 million amnesty for 1 million illegal immigrants, we'll just have to see, right? The plot thickens, if you will. And that just shows the importance of, if we're ever going to get a voting system that everyone can be confident in. This probably doesn't help, does it? Does it? Anyway, next story. Okay. I was looking at the wrong place. Anyway, Peru's president, Jose Jerry, has been impeached just 4 months into his term, marking the third consecutive outing of a president and the 7th since 2016. Just think of that. Since 2016, 8 presidents. Right? This is crazy. Political instability raises questions about the governance and the future in Peru. And citizens are just kind of trying to deal with all these corruption scandals and economic challenges. But is everything as it seems? Is everything as it seems? Well, I did some digging. I read into this and did some asking. Here's one of the problems. Peru saw a problem that they had. Now, what they're being accused of in Peru is too much Chinese influence. But I think what the real problem is that Peru decided that they didn't care for all of these non-governmental organizations, all these foreign charities and whatnot, having this massive political influence in their country. A lot of NGOs that might be tied to our tax money. Right? I mean, not directly, it's laundered. And so they came in last year, in 2025, Peru's Congress approved an amendment. It's Law 27692 that governs the Peruvian Agency for International Cooperation. Dun, 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 dun. And this law, often called the anti-NGO law, applies mainly to NGOs and civil society organizations and even some independent media organizations that rely on foreign funding. And when they say foreign funding, what they really mean is United States funding, right? And so this is one of the big problems is Peru didn't like all of the influence that these non-governmental organizations had in their country. They passed some laws to stop the influence of it. And shockingly, they keep getting... There's more and more scandals. Are these created? Are these the creations of Americans, right? That's one of the big issues, is that the current president, who is now impeached, right? That's the major issue is, he wanted to stop essentially the CIA from messing around in his country, and you see what that gets you. So keep that in mind. Don't go against the CIA. The results are not always good. Next story. Okay, so CBS has distanced itself from Stephen Colbert after he attributed the cancellation of an unaired interview with Democratic Senate candidate James Tallarico to the FCC, linking it to former President Trump. The network's attorneys clarified that the decision was not influenced by political pressure, and pretty much said he was full of shit. So I'm probably not going to see that on The View, though. So what happened? Colbert wanted to interview Senate candidate James Tallarico. And if you are to do that and you claim to be unbiased, right? Then you need to give equal time to the other candidates. One of the other candidates, Jasmine Crockett. Perhaps, this is my claim, Stephen Colbert doesn't want to have a strong black woman on his show. He doesn't want a strong black woman to win. And so that's why this is all a big issue. And so what Colbert did is he did the interview and only put it on YouTube. And YouTube doesn't, the equal time does not apply to YouTube. So I think this is just another example of Stephen Colbert just lying to his audience. But what else is new, right? Absolutely nothing. I don't think that CBS is scared of Trump's influence. Like, I'm just not buying that. But there should be, right, equal time. Not on cable. So what this only involves channels that are in the public airwaves. So just the major networks that are over the air, because those are paid for by the government. Our tax money, right, is what gives them the opportunity to reach everyone. So in this case, I think equal time doesn't seem like that hard to do. You can't have a late night comedy show and only put on candidates that you choose to and not give equal time to the other candidates. I think that's reasonable. I think that's reasonable. But I guess they'll have to defend why they don't want Jasmine Crockett on their show. Okay. What else we got here? Look at this. I'm using CNN as a source. Oh, my goodness, Tom. Yes, even CNN. I can do that. Australia has decided against repatriating citizens linked to ISIS who were stranded in Syria, with Prime Minister Anthony Albanese stating, "If you make your bed, you lie in it." This stance reflects a hardline approach to national security and the complexities in dealing with citizens who have joined extremist groups abroad. Now, I don't know if these people were actually joined ISIS, but I probably wouldn't want them coming back, would you? Right? So this is actually a turning point for Australia, which in past years has just taken it and has just taken everything and seems to have done everything they can to make their country more dangerous. But, I think Australia's refusal to repatriate ISIS-linked citizens, it's a gamble, and I say in a good way. But we need to be careful. You kind of want your country to stick up for you, right? I don't want a country. Have they had a trial, right? I mean, it looks like you're guilty until proven innocent, but I guess they don't have that in Australia. Anyway, looks like it's a hardline strategy, and I hope it doesn't boomerang. There's my Australia joke there. Ha ha. Next up, we've got New Mexico launches a probe into what happened at Epstein's Zorro Ranch. Oh, you're telling me it's 2018? Oh, no, it's 2026. That's right. Anyway, New Mexico has finally launched a comprehensive probe into Epstein's Zorro Ranch with allegations of abuse and criminal activity. This comes after claims of 2 foreign girls were buried on the property in multiple testimonies from survivors detailing misconduct by Epstein and his associates. And they've approved a $2.5 million budget approved. The Bipartisan Truth Commission aims to uncover the extent of wrongdoing, although I'm sure that all the evidence is just still there because there hasn't been years and years and years of time to get rid of the evidence. I don't know. Are they going to find anything? I don't know. But it's about damn time, right? It's about damn time. Anyway, I guess this next one is semi good news, but we're getting close. We're getting close. Year of the Fire Horse, welcomed by millions from Beijing to Bangkok. Year of the Fire Horse has arrived, bringing with it vibrant celebrations across the globe. Millions are engaged in traditional festivities marked by prayer, family gatherings, feasts. This year's zodiac sign is believed to symbolize energy, independence, and enthusiasm, setting the tone for a dynamic year ahead. I'm all for it. Yeah, I say as we're going into this new year, the Fire Horse. That's an invitation to just embrace the fiery energy, not just for your own personal growth, but for collective growth. Can we have this the year of bringing others up with us? Right, this is your year to break free. Use the symbol of the fire horse to take on the year. I don't know. What is a fire horse? I don't know. But celebrations are going on right now. I think through the 20th or so. And lastly, let's get to the good news of the day. Air Force One is getting a makeover. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Air Force One set to receive an exterior makeover featuring a new color scheme influenced by Trump's preferences. Well, cheers to that. The redesign aims to modernize the iconic aircraft while reflecting the current administration's aesthetic choices. Critics and supporters alike are weighing in on whether these changes are a necessary update or a unnecessary expense. Well, here's the old one. This is interesting. A lot of blue on that. Wonder if there's anything subtle about having the presidential Air Force One be blue with pretty much no signs of red whatsoever. Blue associated with which political party? Oh, that's right. And it's no wonder they have a problem with the new and improved looking plane here. Here it is. There's a little mock-up on the president's desk. And we've got we've got a nice red stripe and a nice blue stripe. That looks sharp to me. I'm all in favor. We got a beautiful American flag on the tail there. United States of America. I love it. I love it. I think this is good news. We got it's a current year. We should have a good-looking Air Force One. So and it's hard to find good news these days. So that's what I found for the good news. But anyway, stick around for the after show. I'll go through your comments, get your feedback. I'll be back on Friday with another show live, and maybe we can crack double digits watching us live. Who knows? Stick around for the after show. I will see you all there and on Friday. Peace. Uh-oh. Well, that... cannot get the... I screwed up again! Again! My goodness, Tom. Well, what are you going to do, right? Anyway, let's check out the comments. And for whatever reason, I can't get them on the screen right now. But you can then see my beautiful totem here. Instead, right? But Big Daddy's here. Hairway Stephen is here. Hope the mic got better. Big Daddy says, I've learned so much more as an adult than I ever learned as a child. I've rethought a lot of things I was taught as a child being an adult. I agree. I think I've learned more since starting this dumb show than I've learned in decades. Crazy. Maintenance is the cost of longevity. Yeah, and it's even true for about our health, right? Maintenance for our bodies is really important, but we don't often want to sacrifice these little time for the maintenance. Same thing on our house, keeping things up. Yeah. It says Israel joined the Board of Peace. What an oxymoron. I hadn't heard that yet. I hadn't read that yet. Stories can be anything you want, Tom, as long as the information doesn't come from Russia Today, right? Yeah, that's pretty much it. As long as RT is not a source, it is acceptable, apparently. Well, it probably shouldn't be Breitbart or Zero Hedge either, but if you know, you know. Yeah, it is a sabotage. John's here. Hashtag Coffee Gang Gang. We need to get the hashtag Coffee Gang Gang done. I'll try to throw that in. But glad you're here. Hey, can we keep calling this other guy Joe Biden? Yeah. Who's the real Joe Biden, right? Stephen Colbert, keep in mind, is the same guy that was dancing with a stage full of needle vaccines telling everyone to get the shot. Same guy. Yeah, could anyone be more of a sellout than Stephen Colbert? I don't know. I can't think of anyone, but perhaps there is. Perhaps there is. Good news, maybe we can write off the new paint job. Yeah, perhaps. I don't even know how that works. But anyway... thanks for joining me today. This is what I put together. Think about the optimization trap. going forward, because that was, I think, kind of an interesting idea, something to think about. But anyway, hope you all have a beautiful day. I will see you in the future. Until then, peace.